So, the whole reason I'm making this video is, as I mentioned before, even though Labrats did end up having a spin-off show, that spin-off show ended in a devastating cliffhanger. And I'm not talking about the kind of cliffhanger that resolves most of the issues, but still leaves it open to continue in the future if need be. I'm talking about the kind of cliffhanger that leaves the state of the world in peril, our heroes declaring war, and the villain pledging to destroy everyone. Hey guys, it's Zuri and I'm back with another video. TV shows. Let's talk about them. More specifically, a certain TV show in particular that I want to have more episodes because it's been 4 years and I need closure. Warning, this video contains the excited ramblings of a very passionate fangirl. Please proceed with caution. So the show we're going to be talking about today is Labrats and its spin-off show, Labrats Elite Force. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about how I want there to be more episodes, and I'm going to be talking about a theory that I have as to why the show ended prematurely, but it's just my opinion. Okay, so let's get on into it. Labrats was a Disney show premiering on Disney XD on February 27th of 2012. The show ran for 4 seasons, ending in 2016, but luckily for fans, there was a spin-off show called Labrats Elite Force. However, this only lasted for 1 season and ended in a devastating cliffhanger. But before we get to that, let's talk about the show in general. Labrats begins with a boy named Leo Dooley and his mom moving to her new husband / his new stepdad Donald Davenport's house. Davenport is a wealthy inventor and Leo is blown away by all the high-tech stuff he has. While trying to find his bedroom, Leo discovers a secret underground lab. In this lab are 3 superhuman teenagers, Adam, Bree, and Chase. Now it turns out that Davenport experimented on Adam, Bree, and Chase to give them bionic abilities. Adam has super strength, Bree has super speed, and Chase has super intelligence / super senses. Leo convinces Davenport to let the bionic siblings live normal teenage lives while also going on world-saving missions, and the rest of the show basically follows them struggling to balance being regular humans and being superhumans, with Leo helping them along the way. There is so much that happens throughout the course of this show, too much to get into, so we're just going to skip to the end of Labrats and the beginning of the spin-off show, Labrats Elite Force. This show actually combined Labrats with another Disney XD show called Mighty Med. In Mighty Med, 2 comic book enthusiasts, Kaz and Oliver, discover a secret superhero hospital and become doctors there. Labrats Season 4, Episode 11 was actually a crossover episode between these 2 shows, entitled Labrats vs. Mighty Med. And this crossover episode likely led to the combination of these 2 shows as one main show. In Labrats Elite Force, Bree and Chase from Labrats join Kaz, Oliver, and a superhero named Skylar Storm from Mighty Med to become their own crime-fighting team. The show follows their adventures in their Teen Titan-esque tower in a place called Sentium City. So we have superheroes and bionic humans working together on a team. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty cool to me. So, the whole reason I'm making this video is, as I mentioned before, even though Labrats did end up having a spin-off show, that spin-off show ended in a devastating cliffhanger. And I'm not talking about the kind of cliffhanger that resolves most of the issues, but still leaves it open to continue in the future if need be. I'm talking about the kind of cliffhanger that leaves the state of the world in peril, our heroes declaring war, and the villain pledging to destroy everyone. And that's just where it ends. So why? What happened? Why aren't there any more episodes after this? Well, unfortunately, Disney never really gave a clear answer, but the most common theory is that not enough people were tuning in. So it's been a couple days since I filmed the first part of this video, so I've had some time to think over my theory as to why the Labrats universe, as I'm calling it, didn't continue on. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't know if I agree with my own theory anymore. My original hypothesis was that Labrats grew out of the format that it began with. By this I mean, like with most Disney shows, Labrats was a sitcom. So you would hear that laugh track every couple seconds. You know, it was a lot of humor, a lot of ridiculous situations. And because of that laugh track, the characters had to say or do something funny every couple lines. And the overall acting and writing style prioritizes comedy over drama, which there's nothing wrong with that, but with a show like Labrats that has a lot of action and adventure, you might want to focus more on that than the comedy. That's what I used to think. But after rewatching a couple episodes as research and to just refresh my memory, because it's been a while since I watched the show in its entirety. I watched it while I was airing and it has been 4 years. I realized that the laugh track making the characters do or say something funny wasn't really the problem. I mean, the characters did go through a lot. What with dying and coming back to life, almost dying, saving each other, and we did get a lot of really cool action and fight scenes with the villains. But my original theory made it sound like it was all comedy, no action, which is not true at all. Just watching a compilation that somebody else made of serious moments reminded me that things did get really serious at certain points. And another point that I made in my original hypothesis was that the characters didn't really grow a lot. And while there could have been a lot more character development with some of these characters, that also isn't true. Like, this video would be too long if I went into everything and did like a deep character analysis of everyone. But there were moments of growth and change with certain characters. So again, I feel like my original theory just isn't very accurate. It also made it sound like sitcoms can't tackle serious topics, which they do all the time. In fact, there are adult sitcoms for that very same reason. In my original theory, I was going to say that if Labrats was more in a teen drama style, something along the lines of Teen Wolf or Vampire Diaries, then maybe it would have lasted longer, or maybe the timeline would have been sped up because we wouldn't have had so many filler episodes or episodes where, you know, they were just kind of going about their day-to-day, you know, shenanigans. We wouldn't have had a lot of that. We would just have action episodes all the time. But I guess I found two things wrong with this. First of all, Labrats is unique in the sense that there aren't really any, I can't think of any other sitcom that has superhuman characters in it. You know, Labrats and Mighty Med are both unique in that sense because I've never heard of another superhero sitcom. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But most shows that focus on superhuman characters are in this gritty drama style where things are really serious. And yes, there are moments of comedy, but for the most part, it's still very serious. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like if it were to become one of those types of shows, it might get lost in the fray. I mean, the plot line in and of itself is unique. But what makes it even more unique is the fact that it is a sitcom. Another thing that I was thinking about was Labrats' target audience. Like with many Disney shows, this show was geared towards younger kids and preteens / teenagers that were in the early age range of teens. So like, let's say 8 maybe year olds up to about 12 or 13 year olds. And there's nothing wrong with a show being like this, but I feel like one of the reasons why Disney shows don't necessarily last too long, and I could be totally wrong about this, but one reason why the average Disney show is around 4 seasons is because as the actors age, the characters age, and the storylines, the problems that they would be facing would be more mature for the young kid / preteen / young teen audience that they are gearing the shows towards. And again, there's nothing wrong with having a kids show, and there's nothing wrong with having a show for preteens. But I feel like Labrats could have really dove into a lot of more serious topics, especially as the characters were aging. and maybe they realized this because, as I said, that cliffhanger ending was focusing on basically the end of the world, almost. That world's Armageddon. Like, they were very close. You're talking about the villains just trying to destroy all of the superheroes. And even at the beginning of Labrats Elite Force, Kaz and Oliver state that they lost a lot of superheroes they cared about. They were dealing with grief, although from what I could tell, it wasn't really explored. Again, I didn't watch the entire season before filming this video. I was on a deadline, okay? But from what I gathered, most of the show, other than the scenes where they were fighting the villains, was relatively lighthearted, which is fine. So basically, too long don't watch. What I'm trying to say is that after a while, Labrats would probably have to delve into more mature topics, which, again, they faced to death multiple times, so maybe that was mature, but maybe there were other things that could be explored, and maybe there isn't a real reason why it ended. Maybe it's just one of those things in life that happens, you know, and maybe I'm just overthinking everything because I need closure, okay? I needed an answer. By no means am I saying that there's anything wrong with this show. In fact, I really still enjoy it. And I'm like, has my humor just not changed in 5 years? Like, what? So if we were to get a second season of Elite Force, or another spin-off show set in the Labrats universe, I think that it would be pretty cool if it was like an animated show. Because this way, if the actors weren't interested anymore or anything like that, we would still get to see the characters in their element, doing their thing. And that way, we'd be able to pick up right where we left off. I even have a name for said spin-off, be it an animated show or not. Get ready. It's pretty cool. Labrats Bionic Hero Army. We would pick up right where we left off, and I wouldn't be surprised if the creators of the show had written more, but for whatever reason, they just weren't able to continue. So yeah, just pick up right where we left off. And even if they didn't write anything more, and just come up with some more stuff. I mean, come on, there's so many other places that this show could go, and it still hurts. It still hurts me, but who knows? Anything can happen in life. Maybe they will revamp this show or something. I don't know. And even if they don't, the show will still live on in my heart. And even as I progress into my 20s and eventually reach my 30s, I'll still be ranting about this show because that's this video, how much I truly enjoy it. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. If I continue talking, I will just be repeating myself over and over again. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to tell me your theories as to why the show ended, where you want to see the show go. Anything you want to talk about in regards to the show or otherwise, leave it in the comment section. I will try to answer. Oh, and also, we're 20 subscribers away from hitting 100 subs. My first big milestone on this platform. Woo! So, if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. Hopefully, I'll be able to film more videos. It's been a bit hectic, but hopefully I'll be able to film more videos. And hopefully I'll be able to do more videos like this where I'm talking about a specific show, because I like watching TV shows and I like, you know, getting too emotionally attached to fictional characters. And I might do another videos about Labrats, diving into certain characters and stuff like that, once I have time to rewatch the show and formulate more in-depth opinions. But hopefully you enjoyed this video the way it is. I certainly did. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye!